Since I wasn't working full time, I wasn't making enough money to pay for everything, and I needed money right away to pay for my mortgage. So I signed up for the app and I made $2,000 in 1 month. Hi everybody, it's Jay Hodges here with another episode of Finance Friday. Today we're talking about side hustles and how you can make money after your 9 to 5. I'm talking about doing things at night when you get off work and even on weekends. So that's something you are interested in, then watch the whole video. One of the ways that I make money is, again, using these side hustle apps, Uber, Postmates, DoorDash, but the one that really brought me in the most revenue was Airbnb. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I was able to make $2,000 in 1 month putting my house on Airbnb, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how I did that. When you sign up for Airbnb, you have to put pictures of your home or the space that you want to rent. So I took pictures of all of the bedrooms, the living room, the kitchen, put that up there. Then you have to take a picture of your driver's license and fill out a background check, because they want to make sure that the people who are listing their spaces on Airbnb aren't trying to not only scam people, just to make sure that they're not putting potential renters in dangerous situations. Airbnb has a very particular vetting process on the listers and the renters, which is really safe, and I found that I had no issues with any of my renters, and none of the renters had a problem with me because I got great reviews. So that was really good. So after you do your background check, you provide your driver's license, you provide the address so they can look at it on Google Earth, and you put your pictures in. You can then put on a calendar which days you want to make your space available to rent to other people. So at that time, I wanted to basically keep it open every single day, because I wanted, the more people I could get in and renting, the more money I could make. Now, the caveat of that is, typically people rent a room. Typically listers will put 1 room or 2 rooms available on Airbnb, but you can also list an entire house. So that's what I did. I just listed my entire house. So whenever someone would book on Airbnb, I would just stay at my parents' house or at my sister's house so that they could enjoy the entire house. I wanted to get as many bookings as possible, so I put the lowest rate on there, and I made my rate because I wanted it to be comparable to hotel rooms. I imagine the people who were renting Airbnb to be like my sister-in-law, who likes the control and the safety environment of a hotel room. And the hotel rooms ran like $125 a night. So that's how much I listed my house for. The entire house was for $125 a night, plus a $25 cleaning fee per booking. And then anything over 6 people I charged an extra $10 per person per night. So if you had 8 people, and you were staying for 3 days, then that was an extra 20 times 3, that was an extra $60. And I had people every single day. I did have one guest say, "Why is it so cheap?" And I was like, I don't know how to price these things. I've never, put a house or a room on Airbnb before, so I don't know what is a reasonable rate. All I know is I needed to get people in there every single day in order for me to pay this mortgage. So in the month of, I got everything going in May, and June 1st I had my first booking. They were there for about 3 days and no problems. I bought like coffee and coffee cups and white towels so I could bleach them afterwards. But I was able to make not only the mortgage payment from what I earned on Airbnb, but I was also able to pay the utilities from what I made on Airbnb. So anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 I was making per month on Airbnb. Now imagine if I had upped the prices. So I just went to a location last week, this man's house. He rents out his basement He rents out his basement on Airbnb. He has 2 bedrooms, and each bedroom has an ensuite. There's an open area, and there's like a bar area, and then there's another bathroom. There's an outdoor patio with a hot tub. So for that space, it's $375 per night. And that doesn't even have a full kitchen. It doesn't have a fenced-in backyard because he's on a bluff. And there's no garage. Like, everything is street parking. And I thought to myself, man, if he can get $375 a night for 2 bedrooms and 2 baths, no fenced-in backyard, and street parking, I could have gotten $450 for the entire house per night. Because people are going to be willing to pay that, because even if you price your... Sorry, this hat is really getting on my nerves, but I love it. If you price your space, your home correctly, people are going to compare it to how much it's going to cost them to get a hotel room for the same amount of time. But let's say you have a lot of kids with you, or you're traveling with friends, you're going to need multiple hotel rooms. So by the time you add all of that up, you're spending about the same amount of money to get an Airbnb house where you can all be together, and you have the security of a garage, you have a kitchen where you can cook in, you have a full-size refrigerator and freezer where you can store food, because you know what happens when you travel. You bring a cooler with you, you bring food with you, and when you go into the hotel, you don't always have a mini fridge to store things. But I had a full-size kitchen. Some of my guests even cooked. They brought their own utensils and skillets, and they cooked. They bought food at the grocery store, and then they would cook it and clean up afterwards. So you have that. I had a washer and dryer. I didn't let them use the washer and dryer unless they specifically requested. I had one family who was staying for a week, and they did request to use the washer and dryer, so I did allow them to use it. But anybody else who was there just for the weekend, definitely did not let them use my washer and dryer. But 4 bedrooms, sleeps 8 people, plus I had a formal living room, plus a seating area, or a sitting room, a family room. And in the family room, I had an additional twin bed and 2 couches where people could sleep on. Then the fenced-in backyard for anyone who was traveling with dogs, which is a huge benefit for people who are traveling with pets. They could let the dogs out, and they could run around and not worry about them escaping. So that was really cool. I had one guest who was here multiple times because unfortunately they had a sick child, and they would drive in town to take their child to St. Louis Children's Hospital for treatments, and they really enjoyed just being able to have the whole house to themselves. It was quiet, and the dad took a picture of a deer that was in my backyard one day. Like, he went outside to sit on the porch and drink a cup of coffee, and he was like, oh my god, there's a deer, and he took a picture of it. So that type of scenery, and like, people really appreciate that. They appreciate a back porch and a deck, someplace where they can sit and have coffee. They appreciate having a coffee machine where they can make their coffee and make some dinner and store their food and store medicine, and not have to worry about, you know, things being taken, or, you know, not being able to store their food or store their luggage, or, you know, take a hot shower, take a bath. People really appreciated the amenities that my house offered, and I think that's why I got so many bookings. But the bookings, they basically pay on their end, and then Airbnb will charge a service fee to them. So I get all of my money. So let's say it was $125 a night. Airbnb would list it on the renter's end as $150. So they take their money off the top. They take their $25 service fee off the top, and then I get my $125. Then it was the money that the guest paid was automatically deposited in my account. So there's a couple ways that you can get the money. You can have it direct deposited in your banking account, or you can have a check sent to you. There's another way, but I can't remember what it is right now. So I just had it direct deposited into my accounts, and I was able to track how much money I was making per month using the app, so I could see how much I made in a week, when were my peak times, what month was the most successful, all of that. Let's see, what else? at the end of the year, you do get a, I don't know what it is, a W-2 showing how much money you made on the app, on Airbnb, so that you can report that on your taxes. So if you are going to do Airbnb, not only track how much money you're making through the app, but track how much money you're spending to make the space, I don't want to say livable, but anything you use to make your space better for the sake of Airbnb, make sure you track that, whether you're getting paper towels, tissue. I was getting disposable coffee cups and coffee. All of that I wrote down, even my cleaning supplies, towels, sheets, detergent, anything I was using for the purposes of providing space for and making money on Airbnb. All of that was a tax write-off. And so make sure you keep track of all that. So again, in order for me to pay for my mortgage and make extra money, I signed up for Airbnb and listed my entire home and was able to make anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month, which paid for my mortgage and my utilities. And that was one less thing I had to worry about. And then any other money that I made from freelance jobs, I just put into my bank account. But it was really great to not have to worry about how am I going to pay the mortgage this month, because I had set up a system that was going to allow me to make money without me being there and without me having to spend a lot of hours doing it. So think about that for a second. I was able to make money two ways while doing Airbnb, because the house was making money itself, and then I could go out and work a side job at a photo booth or do some freelance video work or do some acting work. So I'm making money every day that my house was listed on Airbnb, and every day I was working, I was making double the income. So you guys could be at your 9-to-5 job as a teacher and then be renting out a room, a garage, a back porch, a sunroom, whatever it is. You could be making money while you're at work making money. I hope that makes sense. So guys, if you have any questions about the Airbnb process and the money I made from Airbnb, make sure you leave your questions in the comments below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Make sure that you guys follow me on all of my social media. Leave a comment. Make sure you like my page, like this video, and share it with your friends, because we are talking real talk, which is money talk. All right, guys, I will see you next Friday for another episode of Finance Friday with me, Jay. Bye.